Well, with me now are Dominic Bradley of the SDLP, who proposed the motion, and Anne Morgan, whose brother Seamus Ruddy is one of the disappeared. You're both very welcome. Dominic, first of all, what do you want to achieve by this motion at the Assembly, which will continue, the debate will continue after question time later today?
Well, I brought forward this motion in conjunction with the families, with Anne's family and with other families of the disappeared. And I think what they wanted to achieve, which is what I want to achieve, is that the focus would be placed on their plight. The Commission for the Disappeared has a time-limited life, and we're already halfway through that life at the moment. So what I wanted to do is to focus on the plight of the families and on the continuing need for fresh information to be brought forward. And I wanted to do that in a non-contentious way, as I said in my opening speech. And I think, generally speaking, the tenor of the debate has been extremely dignified, and that is very much in keeping with the wishes of the families.
Anne, thanks for joining us. Your brother Seamus Ruddy, it's believed, was murdered maybe by the MLA. That's what the suspicion is, in Paris. And you have been taken, the family have been taken to a site which, and of course nothing has been found. You believe you've been led up the garden path. Do you think that you need to keep the media spotlight on this issue?
Yes, I feel media attention for this is definitely crucial for the families that disappeared, because we have found in the past that we have been in the background a lot of the time. We would have wanted to take this forward as nearly like a political issue, but because it's so sensitive, we always felt we needed to pull back from the politicians and to keep our dignity and our quietness. And the families that disappeared would have endured at least 20 years of silence. Now, it was silence from being threatened to be killed if we did speak to media, and it was also being silenced just by those who were living around certain families who and would not allow them to speak. And because of this, I think the families that disappeared have kept a step back from everything. But as Dominic was saying, that the commissioners now, their work is more or less half done. They have been to Paris, or outside Rouen in Point de l'Arche, to try and find Seamus's remains, and this is their second time being there, and that was unsuccessful. Now, this still means that our family, the Ruddy family, are still a member of the disappeared families grouping. So we're now feeling that we need to bring in some of the politics of this. Just
to raise the awareness. And what did you feel about the debate so far? You were sitting in the public gallery to observe things today.
Well, today I felt that it was very dignified, and I felt that everyone was fully up to speed with our problem, our plight. I was a bit concerned when I heard Gerry Adams speaking, and I thought really he quoted Jeff Knupfer, his words, that people maybe have died and people have the information that they're given has now changed.
This is the forensic expert you quoted, yes.
The forensic expert. But in one sense, I really feel that that's a cop-out.
Do you take at face value what he said about Republicans doing all they could to try and find these remains, or not?
Well, the families would believe, although they are cooperating, the IRA are cooperating, and the INLA on our part is cooperating. But as we have found, having gone to France, even with their cooperation, it isn't enough. They aren't putting enough effort into getting the right evidence, and they're not following that through. So we sort of believe that there's an emptiness there, whether there's a gap in personnel who were involved in these killings or whatever. Now, the families that disappeared would always believe that Gerry Adams always said that those who maybe have killed our members of our families have died, but the families of the disappeared would always say that the person who dug the grave for our loved ones was probably the youngest member of their units. So we don't hold to the argument that they're dead.
Is there a particular difficulty in your case because your brother fell victim, it's believed, to the INLA, and they are not sort of politically represented here at Stormont, they're sort of outside the process? Is it a bit more difficult to bring political pressure to bear on them to try and assist you?
Well, it would be, but we would have direct contact with them, and I can phone them if I wish, and so we as a family can only put pressure on them directly, which in fact, in one sense, is better, because we've got a direct link, whereas some of the other families don't know their links, if you know what I mean.
Dominic Bradley was mentioning about the need to maintain a certain tone in the debate, and I suppose not to let it become just a political football, to get real engagement on this. What more do you think, for instance, should do when obviously it's still the biggest number still relate back to IRA, and IRA victims in the IRA have conceded that and have admitted that. So what more do you think, for instance, Gerry Adams should do? Well,
I think there is an information gap. There's no doubt about it, and at the moment that's been filled by the anxieties of the families. And I think what's needed now is for that information gap to be closed. And I think there is more that Republicans can do, and I would hope that, reflecting on today's debate in the Assembly, that people in positions of leadership in the Republican movement will return to the sources on the ground and speak to them once more, and ensure that information which will lead to the recovery of the remains, which has not been given to date, will be forthcoming.
Dominic Bradley, many thanks, and Anne Morgan, thank you for joining us too.